Welcome. Happy Thursday, beautiful people. My name is Pamela Pacheco, aka Pam the Plug, and I am excited to be here with you guys like I am every Thursday morning on a live episode of Unplugged with Pam, Breakfast Club Call Edition, brought to you by Chosen Global. And this week's theme, we're going to be talking about, we're in a continued series of women winning wars. And today I thought it was very fitting to talk about the rooms that build legacy. The rooms that build legacy. And let me know if you are typing an L, if you're watching the live, typing an R later on, if you're watching the replay. So have you ever noticed how one conversation can change your life? And I mean, not just a smudge of your life, like your entire life, the trajectory of your life. One room, one introduction, one moment, and suddenly everything shifts. And I mean, everything shifts. Your confidence, y'all know I love to say Godfidence. Your Godfidence shifts, right? Your direction shifts because success is not only about what you know, but truly about who you are around, about who you know. And more importantly, the rooms that we choose to step into. And I've learned something in my 40 years of life. Oh, I can't believe I'm saying that, but yes. You're not just building for now, you're building for legacy. And most people think that whether you're building a business, building a brand, building a career, building a community, they're just building to build sometimes, or they're just building for money, or they're just building for the mission. But the truth of the matter is that we're all actually building for legacy. And legacy is what we leave behind. It's what we build while we're here. It's the decisions that we make each and every single day, the way that we show up, the rooms that we sit in, because the rooms that we step into today will determine how you build your legacy tomorrow. You know, you guys, if you hear me talk often, and if you're new here, welcome. But when I talk about legacy, this isn't just something I say, this is something I live. Because my mom, may God rest her soul, she has shaped so much of who I am. She taught me how to love people, how to honor God, how to honor people. She taught me how to show up. She taught me how to give, how to serve, how to be present. So many things, literally every single thing that I can think of, except how to live without her. However, one thing she didn't teach me, it was, like I just mentioned, not to live without her. However, the community and the people that I've continuously surrounded myself in and the rooms that I've been in have been able to allow me to not only survive a season that I thought I was barely going to survive, but thrive through it. And when she went to heaven, I remember my world, it just felt like it stopped. I felt lost. I felt broken. Her heavenly birthday is this Sunday. So, this event is in honor of women like her, of her legacy. It's in honor of all of the women that came before us. And when I remember being in that place, and I'm like, what do I do now? Over time, I realized something. Legacy doesn't stop when someone is gone. Legacy lives through you. Everything, Dr. Bienvenida Reyes Arache, cariñosamente Benny, known as Benny to the people that loved her, it showed me that the way she loved, the way she showed up, the way she cared for people, the way that she worked relentlessly, the work that she built in the community, the impact that she have, all of these things, legacy lives through you. And now these are things that I carry. These are things that my siblings carry, and everybody that knew her, that loved her, that had that honor. So when I build, I'm not just building for me. I'm building because of her, but I'm also building through her. I'm building in a way that honors everything that she gave me, because I'm not just building a business. I'm building something my family will feel way longer after I'm gone. And that's when I understood that this is something deeper, because I am building a legacy. I cannot be in rooms that limit me. I cannot be in rooms that feel like I got to fit in some sort of box, because you guys know me. Like, I show up who I am all the time as me, authentically, beautifully me. And I can't be in environments that shrink me, because when and what I am building is bigger than me. So I love being in rooms that celebrate each other. You know, when I go to the Dominican Republic, one of my favorite places to visit is the baseball court in the Dominican Air Force base where my uncle served. And this baseball field was in honor of his name. And I can think of so many things that the legacy just continues. His children continue his legacy. We all can just continue the legacy, because that's really what it is. And the truth of the matter is that, imagine if we were in spaces that people were like, oh, you're too much. Well, go find less, right? But the rooms that you're in determine what you build. If you're in the wrong room, I'm going to tell you, you're going to play small. You're going to build small. And if you're in the right room, you not only will feel better, you're going to think bigger, because iron does truly sharpen iron. You're going to think bigger. You're going to move differently. You're going to execute differently, because the rooms that we are in, they influence our standards. They influence our mindset. They influence our belief system. When you are around people that think bigger than you, you think bigger, believe faster, sooner. When you are around people that elevate your standards, you realize that, okay, this is you're going to operate at a certain level of excellence, right? You understand that it's bigger than you. So there's been so many rooms that I have been in that have just stretched me. I remember when I first got into personal development 12 years ago, and I remember going to my first ever personal development seminar. And I'm looking at all these people like, oh my goodness. And I thought I was popping, y'all, right? Because I'm working at the bank and I'm making six figures. You know, when you're in your 20s and you leaving on the beach in Miami and you making a little bit over $150,000 a year plus commission, your life, you know, was kind of sweet. And then you find people that what you make in a year, they make in a month. But more than that, it's the freedom that they had with their families that stretched me forever. I remember saying, I want that. If they could do it, I could do it. So when you think about, when even me looking back at that room, yes, I felt uncomfortable. However, when you're expanded, your mind can never go back. And it was a shift within me that I realized, like, okay, I got to level up. I got to level up, because proximity is a legacy decision. When you're around who and when and where and what you are around, is not just a social decision. It's a legacy decision, because proximity, it shapes your habits. It shapes your standards. It shapes our opportunities. And too many people stay in comfortable rooms instead of saying, hey, I'm going to step into a room that requires growth. So I ask you, some of you, you're not just stuck. You're just in rooms that are too small for where you're going. So it's okay to outgrow certain environments. It's okay that you need to elevate your environment. It's okay to choose growth over comfort. And I remember being in the bank, and shout out to all of the banks that I worked at, but the last bank particularly was Bank United. And I remember being at this bank and I loved it, and shout out to the incredible people that I used to work with. And let me take a sip of my cafecito really quick, because this is going to get good. I remember being there, and it was a meeting, and y'all know I love talking about my experience in corporate. So I'm just sitting there, and I'm just looking at the room, and I zoned out in the conversation. I zoned out. And usually I'm the girl that's like focused. I'm taking notes. I'm leaned in. Like I'm at the edge of my seat taking copious notes, because y'all know how I say note takers are history makers. But I remember just being like, what am I doing here? I was over it. I knew that I outgrew the conversations. I knew that I outgrew just everything. And my performance wasn't lacking. None of the things was lacking, but my attention was just not where it needed to be. because my mind was already on exiting my 9 to 5 because I was in that room that stretched me. And I'm over here, overlooking Miami from my office that was on Brickell, and I was just not fulfilled. I just didn't feel it. It was something within me that shifted when I was in those rooms, and I was like, well, it's time to make something. It's going to be a faith decision, but I had to do it. And the one thing that I remember so many people talking behind my back, even my boss at that time, right, was like, oh, those things never work and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, well, I beg your pardon, because it's going to work for me. It's going to work for my family, because I know the God who I serve, and I know what I experienced, and I know what I saw. I remember my mentor one time sending me a screenshot of his bank account. Because come on, guys, when I was in my 20s, I wasn't thinking about legacy. I was driven by money, okay? I was driven by success. I was driven by making my mama free, taking her around the world, my siblings, making sure I was providing for my nieces, my nephews, my godchildren. Like, I just wanted to be the rich auntie, right? So I just wanted to live the life that I wanted to live. So what my mentor one day showed me, his residual check was $55,000, and he sent the screenshot in our leaders chat. It shifted something within me. It shifted something within me immediately. And I was just like, nah, this is not it. This is not it. Something's got to change. And I remember, and I'll tell you, when you're building alone, it still feels productive, because isolation, it shows legacy. But sometimes it's actually limiting, because when you're alone, your perspective is limited. Your growth then becomes smaller. Your vision also stays smaller. But when you're in the right room, your clarity increases, your confidence increases, your opportunities increase, because legacy, it's not built in isolation. It's built through connection. It's built through collaboration. It's built through community. And there have been so many of these connections that just changed the trajectory of my life, that completely just impacted and shifted my mindset, from hearing people like Bob Proctor speak, to Tony Robbins, to John Maxwell, to the wonderful Les Brown. So many things that just completely shifted who I was as a human being and the person that I was becoming. And also just my level of belief, because my level of belief just shifted. And I'm going to tell you that when we talk about the right rooms, and this is why the right rooms matter, because some rooms, they're transactional, and it's okay. I just have no interest in being in those rooms sometimes. Now, if I'm going to a corporation and all you want me to do is come and speak to your client, your employees, and I get it. Hey, those rooms I'm okay with being transactional. But that's not the rooms you're going to catch me in all the time. I'm talking about the rooms that are transformational. And when I think about what we are building with our events within the Chosen Global and Dream Nation conglomerate, and so many amazing people in the Tampa Bay community, especially with our Women Winning Wars and How We Flourish this weekend on Saturday, this is not just an event. This is a room. And it's a room where, for women who are not only building something bigger than themselves, but it's a room for women who are thinking about legacy. It's a room for women who are ready to grow, ready to connect, ready to elevate, because you can keep trying to figure out everything alone and by yourself. But when you can step into a room that expands you, everything changes. So if you're serious about what you're building, and if you're serious about your future, if you're serious about your legacy, and I'm talking about serious, not curious, then you have to be intentional about the rooms that you step into, because the right room, it won't just change your business. It will change your life. Great day and God bless. Make sure you guys tune in to WFLA Rooted in Progress. We are going live today with Deanne King and Terrence Middlebrooks. Blessings on blessings, guys. Take care.